Welcome, beautiful people. We're back on Q&A with Uncle J, episode number 4, and finally we have one of my greatest friends in Sweden, and we've met very recently, Patrick Hamilton Walsh from Ireland. Welcome back, brother, because you just came from your occasional trip.
Thank you, Uncle Jay. Honoured to be here, and I'm really excited to be on the podcast as well.
Yeah.
And I love what you guys are doing here. So seriously, man, it's a big honour to be asked.
Honor for us. Thank you very much for actually having some time from your busy schedule. And I know how busy it is, especially with your traveling, with all your meetings you have.
Yeah.
Great to have an hour with you. How are you, brother? How are you feeling?
Feeling good. It's the first day of summer.
Yeah.
Yesterday was the spring equinox, which meant the day and the night was equal, which meant there was a lot of harmonious and balance and energy around. So it means today is the first day in the year where the day is there's more daylight than there is darkness from today forth. So who can't be happy?
I mean, very interesting, because especially in Sweden we need some light.
Yeah.
But you were last week. You were in Miami and Bahamas and enjoying your time.
Yeah. So people think I'm always traveling, and I'm actually not. The thing is, I'm always traveling when other people are working. So because we live in Sweden and with the winter that we have here, what I like to do is I like to take my holidays during those darker months. So you're completely right. I went to see Conor McGregor fight Khabib in Vegas in October, and when I was there, I got a free cruise around the Caribbean.
Wow.
Yeah, so that was what this trip was. So we took the chance to go to Miami, hang out around South Beach for a few days. Then we went to see my friend in Grand Cayman down that was paradise, absolutely beautiful. Then we did our free cruise around the Bahamas, Nassau, which was beautiful. Then we came back to Miami for spring break, which was awesome, hanging out with some young American kids, partying on South Beach. And then we were quite lucky that we heard that the SpaceX rocket was taken off from Cape Canaveral.
Yeah, I did see that on your story.
So we went up to see that as well. So we squeezed in a lot into a few weeks, but it was great fun. But that's it now. I won't have any holidays, like blocks of time away for the next 6 months.
Okay.
And what I will try and do is just to put in a good shift now on work, because you need to. I believe in balance. You know, work hard, play hard, but in one other side too is rest hard. If you work hard, play hard, you're burning it at both ends. I believe rest hard as well. Take that time to be alone, to chill out, to meditate, to relax, to read, to write.
You just meditated before coming here,
Absolutely. Right? And I mean, meditation is a superpower. I mean, it just elevates you so much. So when I'm coming to do a podcast like this, I want to help you have the best product that you can possibly have. So I don't want to just run on here from a meeting frazzled. What I want to do is just get my breathing right, get my thoughts right, and really respect the effort that you guys have put into putting this together. So that's why, funnily enough, it was only a 6-minute guided meditation with some chanting from the heart, you know, to get me open, to get me alive, and I do that every morning. But if I've got something like this to do, I will also step up and put that effort in, just out of respect for the process.
That's amazing, actually. I've tried meditating several times, and since you know I'm in a fighting sport, I never actually handled it. It's too much time actually being calm, and I have to work on it because I've heard so many positive things about meditating, and just gotta go with the flow, I believe.
No, not that at all. Right, we're gonna do a full meditation right now. Okay,
all right. Let's do it.
And the reason, so people think there's such a really big misconception around meditation, and people think that you have to sit on top of a mountain for hours on end with your legs crossed, floating in the air like this. But we're going to do a full meditation right now, and it's going to take us 16 seconds.
16
seconds.
All right.
And that may be the most powerful thing that happens to you today, or may not, but you won't know until afterwards. You know, maybe tonight you were going to have a bad night and something was going to go wrong, but because you took those 16 seconds today, maybe you just put yourself on a different path. So for the people who are watching as well, they can join us as well. So basically what I want you to do, I want you to just sit up straight with your bum right into the back of your chair, so that you're not lounging against the back. I just want your bum right against the back of the chair. And what we're going to do is I want you to breathe in for 4. I'll count you through it. I want you to breathe in for 4 seconds, And if you want to see it as a square, I want you to breathe in for 4 seconds. I want you to hold it for 4 seconds. I want you to breathe out for 4 seconds. And I want you to hold it for 4 seconds. And that will be a full and complete meditation. And if you can do that once a day, and I'll explain it more once we're done, but let's just go into it now.
Definitely.
So get your bum right into the chair and close your eyes. And I'm going to count you through it, okay?
Mm-hmm.
So empty out all your air. And now we're going to breathe in for 4 seconds. In, 2, 3, 4. Hold, 2, 3, 4. Out, 2, 3, 4. Hold, 2, 3, 4. And whenever you're ready to just blink your eyes open, just do so. That's a meditation, okay? And think about meditation as food. You don't eat all your food first thing in the morning and then that's it. Like a lot of people meditate first thing in the morning. Meditation is actually a lot more powerful if you have it like the way you have food, you do it throughout the day. Mm-hmm. So what I've just shown you there took 16 seconds of your time. It was quite easy.
Very.
So every time you sit in the toilet, or every time you go to a space where you're on your own, on the tunnelbana, on the train, if you can do that for 16 seconds, just no one will even notice it. So whenever I go to the bathroom, sit on the toilet when you're just doing your business and just do your 16 seconds. In, hold, out, hold. And that's complete. And as you get better or more comfortable or more time or whatever, you might do it for 32 seconds. You might do it for 64 seconds. You might do a few spins if that's square.
Incredible.
So I just want to get that across to people. That's a meditation. Meditation is better if you graze on it. And think about grazing. The way a horse doesn't eat all its food in the morning, it grazes all day in the field. Meditation is more powerful if you graze throughout the day.
Well, I read so much about meditation, to be honest, and I never came across this kind of simple explanation as look at it as a square and just count it and you just go with the flow. Yeah. And that's the simplest way actually I've seen so far or heard so far.
It's just my own way. I haven't read about it or haven't come across that anywhere. It's just how I see it. It's just my visualization of it. So if it works for me, if it works for you, and it works, I think that approach works for people with busy lives. And that's a lot of people right now. A lot of people are busy and time poor.
Very true. Actually, we received so many, not complaints, but suggestions that we never introduce our guests. We just go with the flow. So right now we did a little meditation, so that came back to me. And Patrick here, he's an author, a world traveler, and an accountant. And how do you manage actually doing everything at the same time? Because you're writing a book right now, as far as I'm concerned. You've been traveling for, 7 years. Yeah. And then on top of that, you do work. Yeah.
So the thing that I value most is time. I really value my time, and I value the time that I spend with other people, and I value other people's time as well. I don't like to be late for people. I don't like to turning up here not ready or not prepared. Because you're ready, you're prepared, you've done your research as I can see. So the best way that I can explain to you that I've been able to, so I've graduated 7 times. I'm a member of 4 professions. Wow. I've published 3 books, and I'm just finishing my 4th book this weekend. Actually, it's done after this weekend, and it's a book called Forgive Me, Sister, and it's my first book about empowering femininity.
All right. And
the reason why I can do, people think it's a lot, but it's actually not. Like I still have so much time to relax and hang out with my wife and friends and go to the gym, and I'm training for a marathon as well at the moment.
Yeah, you are.
And the reason why I can do that is because on average people work 8 hours per day, which is 1/3 of your day. They also sleep for 8 hours per day, which is 8 hours, or 1/3. So they've actually got 1/3 left. They've got 8 hours left. I have no idea what people do with that time. What I do is I write my book, I train for a marathon, I hang out with my wife, I read, I meditate, I go to parties, I live life. But the one thing I don't do is I don't watch Netflix. I don't have a Spotify account, I don't have a Netflix account, I haven't signed up to anything. Because I'm here to live. Life is for living. Life is for contributing. It's for learning. It's for growing. It's for doing stuff. And people are wasting so much time. Whenever I hear people are watching Game of Thrones or whatever, I'm like, wow, man, it must be so good that you're willing to give up that like sort of peak time of your life. If you're like between 15 and 40, 45, and you're watching Game of Thrones, I mean, wow, you have so much energy you have, because once you get over 45, your energy is going to probably start to drop down a little bit. And you're watching Game of Thrones sitting on a sofa. I'm like, wow, man, fair play. It must be really good if you're going to make that commitment. I'm not willing to make that commitment, you know. I have other stuff I need to do, so that's why that's my approach to time. And the other thing too is, I did it actually last week, and I did a sort of an Instagram story about it, like St. Patrick's Day, Irish man.
By the way.
Thanks. Everyone thinks I'm going to be out getting hammered, you know, on the pub. But what I actually did was my first ever half marathon. And I've always used those sort of cheat days to get ahead. So a cheat day to most people is they've done something good and they're going to cheat. So they're going to cheat on themselves. They're going to, like, they're on a diet and then they're going to eat pizza and McDonald's or crap. Cheat day for me is going up. So the rest of the world is out getting drunk. I'm like, well, what will I do? This is when I was studying and to become, you know, to do my professions and things. What I would do is I would actually, let's say St. Patrick's Day was on a Monday. I would actually take Thursday and Friday off work as holidays, and I would use that for study days. And then I would have Saturday and Sunday, which is 4 study days. Now I've got St. Patrick's Day, which is where everybody else is drinking. I've now on my 5th day of hard study. Then the Tuesday, everyone's hungover. That's a blank holiday in Ireland, so I've had 6 days, which is nearly a full week of just hitting it. That's why I was able to graduate so many times and become a member of all those professions. Because my cheat day means I'm cheating on yous. You're doing something that's dragging you down. I'm doing something that's pulling me up. And don't get me wrong, I live my life. Like I've just told you, whenever I party, I go to spring break in Miami Beach. Yeah. So I live my life, but I just live it on my terms, not on the calendar. When the calendar dictates what I should do. So it's like, I mean, there's things which are as a spiritual guy who's religious and who as a Catholic that I am, I go to mass. I respect Easter. I respect Christmas. I respect those times. But when it comes to these made up sort of days like Valentine's Day and St. Patrick's Day and all this, I'm like, right, I know what I'm going to do. I'm going to get on the grind. I'm going to do some work. And so I cheat on the society on those days, but I never cheat on myself or my family's time.
That's an incredible point of view.
Yeah.
And you're managing to accomplish so much things as well. And I would so much rather prefer being in Miami and just having my vacation there rather than drinking myself here on a holiday.
Yeah.
Which is incredible if you think about it. And you've been traveling for 7 years.
Yeah, I was. So in 2007, when I was 16, I designed my dream life. I wrote down 3 things that I wanted to do. And the third thing on that list was to travel the world. So
when you were 17, you said?
16.
16.
Yeah,
wow,
16.
In such a young age.
Yeah. So I'll tell you the full story. I was 16. I grew up in Northern Ireland during the Troubles. Yeah. There was a lot of bombings and shootings and violence, basically, you know. And where I grew up was the unemployment black spot of Europe. It was the most. There was a lot of trouble. We've seen a lot of stuff going on. There was bombs and dead bodies and people on the street, and that was okay. That was part of our upbringing. But one Friday night, when I was at an event in my town, I came to this conclusion that I wanted more from life, and I realized that the biggest problem in our society wasn't the bombings and the shootings. It was this victim mentality which everyone had. And what I mean by that is everyone blamed someone else for the state of their life, which isn't very good. So where I lived, they blamed the British, they blamed the Protestants, they blamed the dog, the rain, whatever, the weather. It was never their fault that their life wasn't the way they believed it should be. So that night I decided one thing, and it changed my life. I decided that I would never be a victim of anything. I said, everything that goes wrong in my life, I'm taking the blame. But I also says, everything that goes right in my life, I'm taking the credit. Now, consider the world we're living in today, where there's this victim culture. Everyone's looking for ways to be offended.
Yeah.
So I'm the opposite of that. No matter what, you can say, do anything to me you want. I'm taking it because it's on me. Because when you become a victim of anything, you give away your power. The moment that I take, he has said this about me or he thinks this about me, I'm now a victim of him. He's above me.
Yeah.
I'm his victim, so I've given him my power.
Yeah,
so no, I'm not in that position with anyone. I don't give anyone my power. And I don't want anyone else's power. I don't want anyone to be a victim of me either. You know? And that's just how I set my stall. And this is what I see in today's world. When I was 16, I wasn't thinking like this.
Yeah.
I just thought I'm taking credit. I'm taking the responsibility upon myself. Because one thing we don't talk about is everyone wants rights, but with rights comes responsibility. You can't, they're completely married together, those two things.
Yeah.
So at 16, I says, right, I'm not going to be a victim and I want more from life. And in my book, the book's called Life Is. The other version of it is called The Backpacker Who Sold His Supercar, which is available on Bookus or Amazon or any of the bookstores.
That's your second book, right?
Yeah, it was the second and third. And it's basically what I'm telling you is the introduction to those stories, or to those books. And so that I asked myself two questions basically, and the first question was, if I could have or do any three things in this world, what would they be? And for me as a 16-year-old boy, I knew exactly what I wanted.
Yeah.
First thing, 16-year-old boy, I wanted season tickets at Old Trafford, watching Manchester United. That was the dream for me, above everything. Second thing was to have a Porsche before I was 30. And the third thing was to travel all the world. And now, don't get me wrong, it's easy to say this now, but when I said this at that time, people laughed at me. Like, I literally had never seen a Porsche in my life. Like,
No.
where I lived, there was more car bombs than sports cars, you know? And the cars were on fire. They weren't Porsches. So I was up against it. And my other problem now is I wasn't good at anything. Like, I didn't shine in any way. I didn't have like that potential. Or nobody picked me out in a crowd to go, he'll go far. No one, like, I wasn't that guy at all. So the things you wanted to be good at where I was from is fighting, which you're a rock star at, or football, which I'm sure you're a rock star at as well. And I wasn't even the best in my village at either of those. So I had to think about, like, what can I do with my life? Like, what have I got? And the only thing I sort of had at school was I was okay at mathematics.
Okay.
Wasn't good. Wasn't a rock star. Just I could get by. I could do the homework, no problem. So I thought, right, that's what I will use. And I thought the best thing I will do with that is I'll set myself a goal. And the goal is to be threefold. Number one, stop messing around in school and try and come top of the class by the time I leave school at 18, so 2 years. Second thing was to become the first person from my area to go to university and graduate. I didn't know anyone who had ever graduated.
Wow.
Yeah, I mean, that's just the way it was. I mean, I'm not a victim of it. It was our society. It's okay. Third thing then was to go to Dublin or Belfast and become a chartered accountant, because I thought accountants, they're all rich, so that'll help me get season tickets, of course, travel, you know, and so that's what I did. And this is the thing I want people to understand. I didn't go like, hallelujah, save the Lord, you know, I'm now going to like change my whole life. This is what I did. I slowly moved from the back of the class with the lads up to the next level of chairs towards the front of the class over like 2 months.
Wow.
I just started tuning in, listening to the teacher, and that starts a chain of causation. That starts a trajectory of doing something which is positive, which can lead you like that. And that's what changed it. People think that you have to like strip everything down and change everything. No, they start new habits. Listen to the teacher, do your homework. Things like that can then lead to new things happening and opening more and more and more doors. And that's what happened with me. So go forward 10 years. I'm now 26. I've come top of the class in school. I've won awards throughout the UK. I've been taken to London to collect computers for schools. I didn't get nothing, but the school got stuff like. Graduated, got a degree in accounting and business studies. And
what about the Porsche?
I'm coming to it. And then I went to Dublin. So at 26, I've just qualified as a chartered accountant in Grant Thornton, and I've just started a new job in PricewaterhouseCoopers, as doing tax law, basically, you can say.
Right.
And so I was starting these new exams along with a qualified financial advisor exam. So I was doing 2 sets of professional exams at the same time, stacked on top.
Wow.
It was a tough few years, but there was a reason for it. And so every Friday night I used to come out of work in my suit and tie like a young accountant and get the bus to the airport, fly to Manchester. I had 2 season tickets where I'd go over there, I'd have a few beers, watch the football, have a laugh. When I was 27, I used to jump in my Porsche on a Friday, drive to the airport, go over, get a few beers, watch the football, stay in Manchester or Liverpool or Newcastle or Leeds for the weekend, have fun. And when I was 28 in May 2007, I sold everything I had and went backpacking. And for 7 years, I travelled the entire 130 countries.
Wow.
I travelled across the 7 continents, and it actually leads me to why I'm sitting in Stockholm. So when I was travelling, I used to pick 2 points on the map and travel from one to the other, whatever way I could. So the biggest road trip I did by land, no, second biggest one, by road, instead of by land, I'll say by road, is that I drove from London to Sydney. And
That's
two,
a
yeah,
long trip.
yeah, and 2 days after arriving in Australia, I went into a backpackers bar, and it was happy hour, so I grabbed me 2 beers, and I seen these 2 blonde girls in the corner, so I was like, yo, I'm getting over there. And I went around, and one of those girls was from Västerås in Sweden.
Okay.
And now I'm married to that girl.
Right.
So that's how that. But actually, the longest trip I ever did is I took a train from the Arctic to the equator. So I started at the top of Norway in Narvik, and took a train from Narvik to Singapore.
Wow.
With the Trans-Siberian in the middle, and then going down through Southeast Asia. So that was actually the longest trip I ever did by rail. And but that's what I did. I travelled all 7 continents, went to Antarctica, broke Guinness World Records, had a laugh, did everything a boy should do. And then that led me to Sweden. And when I was turning 35, just turned 35, got married, and came here 4 years ago.
And since then, living in Stockholm.
Living in Stockholm, loving it. Beautiful city.
About backpacking, when you were traveling to all these countries, were you staying there more over a month, or were you just visiting it for a couple of days and living?
Just
Why? How did it take you 7 years?
just off the cuff. It was just off the cuff, whatever I was doing. So some places you rock up in this nice town, and you might go, wow, this is awesome.
So you stay longer.
You stay longer, and then there's other places you expect it to be awesome. You rock up, you're like, nah. So next morning you pack your bag, go to the next town, and just make your way around the world. But the longest I stayed was, so I needed to top up. People always ask about the money. Where do you get the money for that? Yeah. And I want people to understand this. No one I know has got enough money to go backpacking for 7 years. Like, they don't have that budget set out.
Absolutely.
What you need is you need the right attitude, and you need enough money to get you to the next continent. Okay? Because there's many ways that you can backpack for free. Many ways you can actually get paid to backpack. And in today's world, you can actually get full-time job, salary, backpacking. But in 2007, it wasn't an option. So let's just go back to basics. Okay? You can stay in a hostel, and you can help make the beds each morning, and they'll let you stay for free. Or if you stay in a hostel and you sort of do that and work in the bar, you'll probably get paid and be able to stay for free and make some money at the same time and get your dinner and all for free. So you're actually making money by being in the backpacker environment.
Insane.
I know guys who used to drive the bus to the airport to pick up the new backpackers coming in, and they would make decent money. And obviously it's not so they're backpacking, but they're making a little bit of money each day or each week. Backpacking is not a money thing, it's an attitude thing. And the better your attitude and the more open you are to meeting people, the less it costs you. No one wants to hang around with an asshole.
No,
that's
definitely
a fact. If you're an asshole, you will pay more for everything you do. If you're a cool person who's open and considerate and just wants to contribute to the world and the society and the group that you're in, people, not only that, like, people will drop you to the next destination. People will let you stay in their house. They might let you put up a tent in their garden. All these things have happened to me. You know what I mean? People, you're staying here. Where are you camping? No idea. Well, put your tent in our garden. We'll bring you out. You can have dinner with us and stuff like that.
You're not taking hotels, nothing, right? Just
never a hotel. And actually, when I backpack, what I do is I go to the hostel, and I look for the biggest dorm room they have. Let's say it's a 12-bed dorm.
Yeah.
What I do is I book in there, and I usually travel by my own. So straight away I go in, I've got 11 new friends. And all of those people are either coming from where I want to go next, so they can tell me where to stay in the next place or give me information, or they might be going the way I'm going, and they're like, "Do you want to? We've got a Volkswagen Jeep. Do you want to jump in with us or something?" You know, you don't know. So that's why it's all. Life is about people. Life is about being open to the world, and I would say the most important thing you can do is to travel on your own. At least leave on your own, because when you travel on your own, you're never on your own. Because you go into that dorm room, first place you stay, there's 11 beds, there's probably 3 people mingling around the room. What's happening? How are you? Where are you from? What's you know? Do you want to go for a beer down at the hostel bar? Yeah, let's go.
Over the floor.
And from that moment, you'll never be on your own. If you go with, if me and you go together, 2 mates, people will see us and go, they're mates, they're hanging out. You know, whereas if you're on your own, people will pull you into the gang.
That's very true.
And if you go as a couple, you might meet other couples, and that's boring, you know, because you're sitting there like talking nonsense with these other couples. So I always try and go on my own, and thank God my wife is a backpacker as well. She's got that backpacker's mentality, and so here's one thing I do. So because I just turned 40 recently, my wife turned 30 last year. Okay, we're both backpackers, but we still like the nice things in life. So whenever we live our life now, we live it 2 ways. So we either go 5-star or 1-star. So let's say we were in Dubai last Easter. We went 5-star hotel, all inclusive. But we were at the Khabib fight. So Vegas is a better example. Yeah. We went to the Khabib and Conor fight in October. Yeah. We stayed in Vegas, 5-star hotel. Then when we were done in Vegas for the long weekend, we went up and we stayed in Santa Monica hostel, shared a dorm room with whatever it was, 8 other people, 6 other people. So that's 1-star. And 1-star gives you the best experiences because you're meeting new people all the time. But 5-star gives you the best comfort. But you're getting constantly best experience, best comfort, but it's only costing you 3-star cost on average.
It's a very smart way of thinking, yeah.
So instead of just living your life on a bland 3-star beige life, have all the laugh and all the experience with all the cool kids, and have all the the comforts and luxuries whenever you need those as well to go to spas and things. Go 5-star, and it all averages out. It's such an average cost anyway over the year. And the thing that most people realize is like people go like, why are you hanging out? Why are you going to hostels? The average age of a backpacker in hostels is now 42. So a lot of people in hostels are people who are probably over 50, 60, 70, into their 90s, and they just love people, and they just love traveling, and they're open to the world, and they want to meet people. What I'm talking about right now. Who doesn't want to hang out with those people? At the same time, you've got the people who are probably under 30, who haven't settled down yet. So it's the people whose kids have moved out and they've retired or whatever. They all go to hostels, and the people who started their life where they want to save their budget and things, you know.
And it's nice that actually so many people right now have this kind of open-minded ways to think, because sometimes when you go actually and try to meet people, they're very closed. And while traveling alone, it feels like there are a lot of open people where you could actually just get a good connection. And
it's only open people. Yeah. I mean, you don't meet anybody who's not got a story to tell or someone who's outgoing. And I mean, they might be more introverted or be more shy in their environment. But when they go backpacking, people they can be true to who they are. And I have to say this to people too. If you're having a tough time in life, it's not your fault. You're probably surrounded by assholes.
Change the environment.
Change your environment. Change your people you're around. They're probably dragging you down or squeezing you into a box that doesn't fit your personality, and you've just allowed it to happen. And it's on you. I mean, you have free will. You can allow yourself to play that character, which doesn't make you happy. So my advice is be true to yourself, and a good way for anyone to sort of shake off that box that they've been squeezed into within society. Go backpacking for 1 week or 1 month or 1 summer. I mean, if you're in Europe, you can get a Eurorail ticket. It'll cost you €300. You can leave from Stockholm, or you can, if you want, you can get a cheap flight into Amsterdam, Brussels, wherever, and you have 30 days to travel around, staying in hostels, meeting people on trains and buses and hostels and beaches and parties and raves.
That could be actually a completely life-changing experience.
It will be. If you go on your own and if you go with your mates, then you're bringing the problem that you had at home along with you.
That's very true.
But if you go on your own, you're setting yourself free. You're setting yourself free. And the toughest thing to do is to just put your backpack on and walk out the door. And then once you've done that, you're freestyling.
Speaking of being shy, we received a couple of questions about networking as well, and there are a lot of people who are very shy to come and start the conversation first.
Yeah.
And it's very unlikely that the person you want to start a conversation with is going to come and start a conversation with you. So how do you actually go through this line, or how shall I put it in a better way? How can they overcome this fear of going and just talking to people and being their true self, as you just said?
Yeah. So there's two types of people. There's people who let's just be vulgar about it and say there's people who are introverted and people who are extroverted.
Exactly.
People who are extroverted going to go there and just start the conversation either. You know, there's different types of introversion and extroversion. So no matter who that person is, if you want to go and talk to them, everyone sees it as a slope. It's a slope that has to be climbed. So you have to go from where you are, position A, to position B, and that's for an introvert it might look like this. For an extrovert it might look like this. But you if there's obviously something in that person that you want to, you know, obtain, whether it's a conversation or a business option or love or sex or whatever you know. The best advice I can give to people for that is to be yourself. Just be true to yourself. If you're an introverted person, I think it's so important that you don't try to be anything else. I think you must maintain the energy that you are and the blessing that you have. I really respect introverted people, because before an introvert tries to climb that hill, what they will do is they will sit back and observe and watch and learn and really build a picture around that person. So they're not going over there off the cuff. They're really wanting to go there. And my advice to an introvert is just to go over and be yourself and just literally say the words that you want to say. You know, don't try and be cool or have a chat up line or have a cool pitch or something, whatever that is, whatever your goal is. Just go over and introduce yourself. And one thing that I do is I try to see people. I try to see people. So I don't look at the title or the persona or anything like that. I try and see what the person is, and everyone is basically the same when you strip it back. Everyone is in. Let's say we're at work or we're in a nightclub. Everyone is basically there because they want to be part of a community. They want to pay their bills. They want to have friends. They want to grow. And when you see people like that, everyone has got their needs. No matter how cool they may seem, they've still got the same pains and same problems and same issues with their parents being sick or they're fighting with their boyfriend or girlfriend or whatever. So see them as that. Don't put them on too much of a pedestal. They're actually like you in more ways than you believe. So just go over and be true to yourself and say, this is what I respect in you. This is why I wanted to talk to you. And would you mind if we had a tea someday, or if I could buy you lunch, or if I could do something where I could tell you about this thing. And if you go over to people and you compliment them and tell them this is why you respect them, I mean, who doesn't want someone to come over and say that to them?
Yeah, that's very true.
You know, and people are more willing to be open. Whereas if you go over and try and be cool and, you know, act all sort of aloof and things, people's like, what the? I'm just trying to get a cup of tea at the machine, leave me alone. You know, but if you're honest and true and realness comes across. And there's one thing that people don't really consider, and that's intention. Intention, people always feel your intention. So if there's let's say, for example, there's a girl that I want to talk to, and I want to talk to her about a business proposal. She will know that I'm not coming over there with any sort of romantic ideas. If I genuinely want to go over there but if I'm going over there talking about a business proposal, but I have romantic ideas, she will feel that. There's a lot of there's a sixth sense in everyone. People know
the intentions right away, huh?
They feel intention. So make sure your intentions are pure. And if you're going over with a romantic idea, male or female, go over with a romantic idea and say, and if you're going over with a business proposal, go over with that. Don't be trying. People are way more intuitive and responsive than you would believe. So I just try and see the greatness in people, and I try to see the human being that they are and the struggles that they have. So therefore, I believe for me it's quite easy to approach people because of that.
Yeah.
It's not a problem at all.
Yeah, I've been a witness of that.
Yeah.
So simple.
But I have to say, I'm Irish, so we're very natural speakers anyway. We're really natural when it comes to talking. I've also backpacked for 7 years, so every room I went into, I was a new guy. So basically, I can't, just by backpacking, you can learn so much of the skill sets that you need to be more of a rock star in life, because you'll bring them back and you'll sort of utilize them in your day to day.
Yeah, definitely. Actually, it's funny. You were just mentioning that you're Irish. One of my very close friends, he went to Ireland today for the competition, and he's a world champion as well.
Wow.
So it was like, we're gonna celebrate afterwards. I was like, I'm interviewing an Irish guy today.
Yeah.
So it's such a coincidence.
Where's he from?
Oh, he's from Sweden.
Yeah.
He became a world champion last year, Nicholas.
Yeah.
So,
He's going over to Ireland to get beat.
I don't think so. But we'll see. He will probably give us some good news on Sunday.
Yeah, hopefully he does well. And hopefully he comes home safe and healthy.
Yeah,
that's
definitely.
all that truly matters, whenever you're talking about fighting in that game. So much respect.
Yeah. Well, he's a badass. I think he will manage.
Yeah, he's
but
good.
Irish people are no easy either. So, but yes, let's talk a little bit about your books, man. You wrote your first book after backpacking, right? Or
No, so my very, very first book is called Is, and the subtitle was The Phenomenon of the Facebook Status.
okay.
And it was a book because social media was just starting to explode. And as I was driving from London to Sydney, I was actually lying on the beach in Bali, and I thought I'd write a book about social media, as random as that comes, at the very early days. And that book sold loads of books, but it's not even a book you would consider now. I think it's actually, I don't even know if it's in print anymore, but you can buy it on ebook and things. But it's so that was my introduction to. It was such a simple introduction to the world of writing. And then my second book was called Life Is, and that book was basically designed to. It was designed to inspire people to do what I did, to sort of design a life which they would love to have, and the things that life should consist of, but also put them on a path towards what that consists of. And I'm a big believer in writing things down. So what I did at 16 years old is I took those goals that I told you about, the season tickets, the Porsche, and the travels, and I put them beside my bed. So whenever my mates were going to watch football and get drunk and have that, I had my goals there, and I knew that today I'm studying, because the path that I need to go on to collect these goals is not what they're doing today. But whenever I'm finished, I won't need to watch the football in the pub. I will go to the football. I'll have season tickets. I'll go to the Champions League final. I'll go to FA Cup final. And so that was the motivation. So I think if you write things down and put it there, so you've got a reminder every day, you'd be surprised how quick it is to get your goals. And the other thing about my books is, so the book was designed to help people go better, climb up.
Yeah.
But every cent from all my books goes to helping the homeless. Every cent always has, always will be contributed to the homeless people. And so what I tried to do is help two sections of society. So the people who are doing okay, want to go higher, they go up. But the money goes to helping people who are on the street get off their knees. And I don't give out money. What I do is I go and buy hoodies, gloves, socks, underwear, clean t-shirts, and I distribute it. So people always wonder how I can give away this money, but I'm like, I'm giving away my time. Like, I'm giving up Sunday morning to go out, help the homeless people, give them. Now, let me put this into perspective for you. Imagine you're homeless and you've been sitting in wet shoes and wet socks for the past few weeks, your underwear's wet. Imagine being a girl wearing the same underwear for weeks, months on end. So what I try and do, one of the things I do is I try and buy, like, I mean, I could buy shoes in there's certain stores for 10, 20 euros, trainers,
Yeah.
socks, like, and I buy briefs, so I can buy briefs so I can give them to male or female, and it's just so that they can have dry, clean feet for once, dry, clean underwear for once. And it's small things like that, actually, which people don't really think about. They're always thinking about sleeping bags and different stuff.
Yeah.
But those real basic things is what I try and focus on as well. And yeah, so my books are for sale. They're on Amazon, they're on bookus.se, Barnes & Noble, whatever online book retailer people normally use. You can buy the paper version or you can download it. And even if you don't want to, if you're not interested in this story but you want to help the homeless, download the book, and every cent will go to helping homeless people.
That's exactly, if you want to be a part of charity and doing something good and
Uh,
actually learning from it.
Hopefully,
It's a win-win.
Yeah. And so now every book I sell, I'm so humbled. Like, so I've got one goal when I write a book, only one goal, and it's that once my book is published, it's that one person that I've never met can send me an email from somewhere in the world and go, your book has helped change my life. And that's the goal. And it's happened with all the books, and it's actually just, it's humbling when someone does that, from some part of the world, and you're like, you've written the words that has helped them take that sort of change in their life or pivot. Then that's the most humbling thing that you can get, and that's a reward for me. So it's not about money, it's not about any of those things. Remember, you were asking me why I do it. That's why I do it, because I'm not a natural writer, and writing's quite tough for me. It really is a challenge. But when you get those emails, it's all worth it. The late nights when everyone else is out and I'm in front of the laptop on my own, looking like this.
I completely understand, actually. Like, if we would talk about it, let's say 5 weeks ago, I would not have a clue what it is. And actually, it was very recently, maybe 2-3 days ago, I got a message, DM on Instagram, like, wow, such an amazing interview. Where can we watch it fully, the full interview? And I was so amazed because people are actually learning something from it, because I'm cutting these little short videos and posting them on Instagram so people could see what's it about. And there are several people who actually like it. And it gives me something. And I wrote last time on my own page that it doesn't really matter whether people watch it or not. For me, it matters that I'm making this personal connection with the person I'm interviewing, and I'm learning so much from them. And that's exactly what's happening right now. I've been learning so much. Even it's 4th episode, but I've been learning so much. And today, I think it was one of the smoothest interviews I had so far, because literally I have 9 questions here, and those 9 questions were asked literally yesterday. Because you told me yesterday that you have time today, and you just went through all of them without me asking you. So that was the smoothest way.
I hacked your computer earlier.
or that. Great to have you here, Patrick. And guys, if you want to buy books and do some charity work and learn at the same time, just buy them online, right? On Amazon or
wherever you want. So all my new book is my first novel. And that book is called Forgive Me, Sister. And it's a book about empowering femininity. And it's a book it's close to my heart, because I really believe in women. I really believe in their ability to be holistic. I think the masculine energy has been so destructive, and so as I see it, I see masculinity. I see the negative side of masculinity as sort of short-termism, greed, sort of desire for more, and as what that has contributed to is basically the destruction of our planet. If there's no way a feminine woman would agree to having the Amazon rainforest chopped down so that we could plant grass, so that we could graze cattle, so that we could have more hamburgers. Because females and femininity is more about looking longer term, more looking at the holistic perspective, and I believe because the world is in the state it's in right now, I think we need a more feminine approach to it, which is more caring, considerate, long term, bigger picture perspective, holistic, and this is what this book is about. There's four types of novels. You've got a love story between two people, a love story between three people, a power battle, and a journey. And this book is a journey. It's a journey about a boy who is quite feminine, and he's trying to be guided along this path with all the own problems that he has himself as a boy who is feminine in a masculine world. And he's sort of given guidance as he goes forth to help empower femininity, despite being surrounded by these sort of nasty, toxic, really masculine men and the challenges that brings forth. So that's what the new book's about, and it's a book which is quite spiritual as well. And I don't think it'll appeal to everyone, and I don't want it to appeal to everyone, but it'll appeal to a very specific kind of person. And the people who understand it, they will really delve a lot from it and learn a lot from it, I hope, as well. So that's the new book, and it's coming soon.
Do you know approximate time?
So I finished it this weekend.
Yeah.
And then it's up to the publishers. I want to have it out before the summer, so people can have it for the beach. So I'm looking at, I would like to have it in the next 3 months.
Good.
But the publishers can be slow.
Yeah, problem with that. Patrick, if you could wrap it up in a minute of all your experience that you had from 7 years of backpacking, from your work, from everything else that you do, from writing books, what would you give us, people, what kind of an advice that we could actually be motivated and simply change our lifestyle the next day?
Yeah, quite simple. You're the average of the 5 people you spend the most time with. Your weight, your salary, your happiness, look at everything that you are, and look at the 5 people you spend the most time with. You're the average of that. So if you're trying to get fit, but all your best friends are eating pizza and smoking dope on the sofa every evening, you can be sure that you will sort of get pulled into that sort of environment as well. But if you're hanging out with 5 people and they're 5 millionaires, then more than likely you'll be the 6th millionaire, because those guys will have access to funding. They'll be on that game where they're always thinking of ideas, and they'll be putting together structures and plans and helping each other. So good or bad, you're the average of the 5 people you spend your most time with. So I would say be very careful on who they are, and I think it's very important to surround yourself with people who look like your future, not people who look like your past. And I don't want to be too harsh in saying that. I don't think people should be like social climbers and stuff like that. You have to be genuine. You have to be real. And considering the background I come from, my favorite people in the world are the people that I grew up with. But they don't look like my future. I don't want my children to grow up in the unemployment black spot of Europe. As much as I love the people I grew up with, I wanted them to have a better life than I had. So therefore, I have to move forward in life and travel the world and end up in cities like Stockholm. So the most important thing is just be aware of your surroundings. Be aware of the sort of things that people are telling you, and if people are pulling you up, that's awesome. If people are pulling you down, then you should probably be spending less time with people who are pulling you down, because you've only got one chance. You're only on this planet for a certain amount of more days, years, months, and whenever that's done, none of us get off this planet alive. So make the most of it. Time is so short. Value your time. And be so true to yourself. Like, be true to yourself. The people who don't like it will drop off. The people who do like it will fall into your life. So you don't even, it's not as if you have to drop people out of your world. Just by you being true to yourself, the people who don't like the new version of you, they will drop off. And then that average of the 5 people you're spending the most time with, it'll reflect the energy that you're on.
Be yourself, huh?
Be yourself. That's what I read in my book. Be true to yourself. Be really true to yourself. And know thyself. Know who you are. Because I believe you have two jobs. The first job you have on this planet as a soul is to find out. The easiest one is to find out who you're not. I'm not you. I could never do what you do. I look up to you in so many ways. And as much as I could try to be like you, there's no way I could compete with you in the things that you are. But then I can look at me and go, do you know what? I've got these things. I've got this weird accent. I've got this crazy hair at the moment. I've got the things that I have, and I must make my own soup with the skills I have to use my skill set. And so that's it. Be true to yourself. Find out who you are, and the best way to do that is to find out who you're not, and then be true to yourself from there.
I would love to talk about your hair more, brother, but I do believe you have a meeting after this, so I have to wrap it up. And that was Patrick Hamilton Walsh. Amazing interview. Thank you very much, brother, for your time. And you can watch the whole interview next Friday on Q&A with Uncle Jay, guys. Thank you.
Honoured. Thank you very much, guys. And if you have any more questions, reach out on social media, Instagram, Facebook,
Yes,
Twitter. Check out the books, and I'm honoured to be here. Thank you very much, guys.
Definitely. We'll have all your information on the video, and we'll be posting short videos every week.
Awesome.
Every day, I mean.
Yeah, I love it.
Great to have you, brother. Thank you very much.
Take care.